Hello, friends. It's Miranda Rains. It's my privilege and honor to spend time with you tonight. Thank you for inviting me into your presence. I just want to talk a little bit more and hopefully teach you a couple of things regarding color theory and seasons and this whole trend that's about. But for me, it hasn't been a trend. It's been a part of my business and my adulthood, helping people as an image consultant really look and feel their best. And I feel, of course, within my Mary Kay career, 25 years with Mary Kay, this is what really helped my business just catapult, is learning specifics to color theory. I want to teach you a little bit. There's three things I want to talk about. I want to talk to you about understanding colors or Mary Kay products for what they are, specifically in their color approach. I want to talk to you a little bit more about color theory, give you fancy words for what you may be hearing with that, and then let's talk about seasons within our time. But may I impress upon you from the very beginning, I do want to let you know that color is hard. Color's hard. So if you are like Miranda, my eyes haven't seen any of this that I've been hearing or watching you do or talk about. Just give yourself grace with this. As a learning curve, the curve is big. So for some friends, it's a way big old curve we never get around. And for some, in time, it helps us. So I just want to walk you through some good one-on-one basics. And this may be what we call class one, because again, color is depth. So just know that I will talk with generalities in mind and be specific when we need to be. But let's dive into the first thing I want to talk about is in regards to Mary Kay, in regards to products, in regards to color theory. We want to be able to help our eye distinguish products. Are they more cool, neutral, or warm? That would be one thing that you would want to train your eye. So if we're looking at this in three different capacities, training our eye for products. So when it comes to eyeshadows, lipsticks, more specifically blushes, what are best for people in their coloring? So when you can look at a product and see the product for itself, what hue it has, light to dark, and then what undertone it has, more cool or warm, or even neutral, at least if you don't have an idea of what seasons people are, you can put products on friends in their right placement, at least for undertone or value. So let's talk about that. So products. Keep in mind that especially lipsticks, for example, when things are more cool, they're going to be blue based, purpley violet based, maybe gray, silver, white based, would shift things cool. And then if it's a warm base, it's going to be red, yellow, or orange in it. So when you're looking at a product, and a little cheat sheet would be the sun in the sky, it's red, yellow, or orange. So that means if the sun is hot and warm, colors that are warm will be red, yellow, and orange, like the hot sun is. And then think of cool colors, like if we were in Alaska and we were on an iceberg, it would be white, gray, purple, or blue based. That's what the iceberg would have in its coloring, and that would be cold. So cool colors are purple, blue, white, gray base. So keep that in mind if that helps you when distinguishing a color. But when you're looking at, let's say, a lipstick, for example, if you can look at a lipstick and say, okay, I see purple in this, or I see a red base in this, then automatically you're aligning to that product either more cool or more warm. And that is already helping you know who it would serve whom best. For example, let's talk lipsticks in the hydrating formula. We have Fuchsia Dream and Berry Raspberry. I like to call those sister lipsticks. By the way, I have a lookbook here if I keep looking for some cheat sheets. These are sister lipsticks. Their depths are the same. They're both a little bit deeper in value. They're a little bit more muted in their approach, but one is cool and one is warm. If we look at Very Raspberry, we can see a little bit of a purple in it, just like if we were looking at a raspberry fruit at the grocery store. So it's going to lean more cool, Very Raspberry, as a lipstick will. Then if you look at Fuchsia Dream, or if you're putting it on someone, it's a deeper fuchsia, yes, but it's got more warm undertones in it. And that's the difference, is regardless of season and color analysis, if you can look at these products and say this one, berry raspberry, is more cool, so fuchsia dream would be more warm, then you're understanding the product and its hue and undertone itself. And that would be one thing I would train your eye to see. Another example, let's talk about mauve moment and always apricot. They're on the lighter end and they're more muted. So a direct opposite in this comparison. But if we look at mauve moment, you'll also see a little bit of a lavender purple undertone. And if we look at always apricot, it's got a little bit more of a peachy corally orange, if you will. So that's the difference. Mauve moment's more cool, always apricot is more warm. And that's the route you may want to start going, training your eye with product. What is cool? What is warm? Because what we want is cooler skin looks best in cooler colors. Warmer skin will look best on warmer colors. So if you're already kind of 50-50 leading the way, you're helping people figure out their best. So my advice is, first things first, learn your products and what is in what hue or value. Undertone. Just know your products. And I will say this, and I hope it's respectfully. We are Mary Kay Beauty Consultants. And so our number one allegiance is to be skincare focused, and of course, color focused, but we need to be product focused. So trends and color analysis may come and go, but we as Mary Kay girls want to be product focus. And so if you will worry about knowing your products first, don't get me preaching, but the truth is, then in time the others will pick up. And despite the trends and despite your business, you'll always have a leg up when you know your products first and foremost. So that's what I would say when color theory is looking at products. What do you see with your eye? More cool or more warm? And friends, we've created resources. We've got them on erinmarlowe.com for you to see. I labeled everything more cool or warm for you, and that's a given, a free resource to you. But even if it were 1980, when the year I was born, and we didn't have internet and we don't have these resources and charts, I would love for you to train your eye. Just learn to look at something and try to decipher its undertone, more cool or warm. That would be my advice to you, number one. The second thing I want to talk to you, I want to get into color theory. So that way you're understanding why was this important to know my product and where to put them cool or warm. Understanding what cool colors mean in their undertone and what warm colors mean in their undertone. That's part of color theory. So when I'm doing a color analysis for a friend, my goal is to get very specific on their best of the best of the best. And I'm looking at their skin. I'm looking at hair. I'm looking at eye color, and all of this comes together for your placement and seasonal analysis, which I'll go into next. But you need to understand what this all means and the verbiage of it. So when it comes to color theory, undertone I just explained, cool or warm, those are the majority of undertones, but we also have neutral. If the color wheel is a circle, if we cut it down the middle, there would be two vertical halves to the color wheel, cool, warm. But there are neutral colors. There are colors that fall and complement both sides of the color wheel. For example, turquoise. Turquoise is a neutral color. Now, if we're getting particular, I'm going to speak very generally today. Particulars may come in a video number 2. But turquoise will serve everyone. Now, some of us may need a brighter shade of turquoise or a hot shade, and some of us may need a softer shade. But at the end of the day, turquoise will serve everyone. Let's talk about teal. Teal is another neutral color. So it's on both sides of the color wheel. So there are neutral colors and there are neutral skinned friends walking amongst us. There are. Now, they're not as prevalent as everyone would say, or as every quiz would let us know. But there are neutral friends. If you are neutral in your skin tone, a true neutral, we still place that friend with more cool or more warm colors in mind with their season. So even neutral friends lean more cool or warm because the color wheel is only divided in half, and there's two sides. So understanding undertone. Let me talk a little bit more about that regards to skin. All right, if you have a little bit of a pink to your skin, chances are you will lean more cool. Even if you're neutral, you'll lean more cool on the color wheel. Warm friends not always have a honey look. Well, clearly look at me. And I've on sunless tan. So let's just say I'm very tan right now, but I'm normally very light ivory. And sometimes we think of warm friends as they're going to be J-Lo walking around or Hoda Kotb on the Today Show. And although we love and respect those friends, it's not easily as seen. But a warmer skin just will typically have a glow about it where some warmth will take place and not a lot of pink, even a little bit of clarity. But gold jewelry will honor very well our warm friends. If you put gold next to her, it just glows and looks very classy. And silver will also honor our cool friends very well. But it's training your eye to see this, because at a glance, everyone is so beautifully and wonderfully made. They all look good in gold, or they all look good in silver. I know it's tough, but you really want to see, what is the skin saying to me? What speaks best to them, cool or silver? But more importantly, grab your Mary Kay foundations and let's do a test. Matching the foundations on the skin, which foundations blend in seamlessly to your client? I would start with, if I were working with a client, I would start with noticing their depth of their skin, ivory, beige, or bronze. Just pick one, pick a depth. Start in the middle with foundations right in the middle. So say it's like a 150 or a 140 or a 160 shade, wherever in the middle would align. And then do your best to match them in a C foundation and or in a W foundation. Do your best, because that gives you so much clarity, more cool or warm. Sometimes they're not great matches and you need to put them in an N, and that's your answer, that they need a neutral. But which way would serve them better, more cool or more warm? And again, you have to train your eye. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record with this, but my point on number 3 will be all about generalities and specifics. So hang tight on that. Okay, so undertone is what your skin is saying. It's what your skin is saying to us. You lean more cool or more warm, or you may be a true neutral, but we're still going to put you more cool or warm when it comes to seasons on the color wheel. All right, that's part of the equation. Another thing we want to talk about is value scale. And if we've hung out before, you know that I talk about this. This is important to me because value is light to dark. And if we're looking at a scale, value scale, white's over here, black is over here. The more white we add to a color lightens it. The more black we add deepens it. So you look better in lighter to darker colors. What serves you best? Now, a lot of us may have heard the phrase washed out. Oh, I feel washed out. That may be because you're wearing something too light. Or if I say, you may not say this, I say this. I'm like, ooh, that color's wearing her. She ain't wearing it. That's because it was too deep. There's a placement on the value scale where all of us look best in certain hues. We can't go too light. Some of us need light, but some of us do not. Some of us need deeper shades, some of us do not. So value is important. This has a lot to do with hair and eye color. This is where your features come in. So your undertone speaks to your skin. Your value, where you line up, speaks to your hair and eye. And then let's talk chroma, because that's where it comes together. Chroma is color intensity. So on one end of a chromatic scale is going to be soft, muted, dusty. And then we've got saturated, intense on the opposite end. We would put neon over here if we were extremist. So chromatically, what's going to serve you better? More muted, softer shades, or more saturated, intense shades, or hot shades? We all have a scale of what serves us best. That is, again, your features aligning with your skin to say, hey, these colors complement her and her capacity well. Let me talk to you a little bit about the fourth term, overtone. Overtone is a lot of times what your hair or your eye, mainly hair, is speaking over your countenance. Some of us have chosen hair colors. Some of us, we go wild and crazy, we go fun. Some of us are living in our natural lane. Not me, but some of us are. Whatever your hair is saying, not all people have overtone, but some people choose to go outside of their natural coloring and they have an overshadowing. Their hair is overshadowing their countenance and it's not in their color wheel. It could be opposite. It could be stark opposite. It could be like if you have a friend who is adventurous with her hair. She does purple, she does pink, etc. Good for her. Go for it. Absolutely. We want her to express herself in that way, but it's creating an overtone. And so what it allows is she has undertone for her skin, her value and chroma scale all colliding. And then you have to think in mind overshadowing the overtone, what is happening with that coloring. And you have to eliminate these one by one and try to define her best. And then that helps you put her in a season. So let's talk about that, the third thing. Then we'll review. Let's talk about the seasons. And this is where we have to speak generally. I'm going to be very honest with you. Color is so individualized because for every rule, there are 10 exceptions to the rule. And you're looking at a girl who's always been an exception. That's why I started doing this years ago. That's why I had an eye for this, because I could really see the exceptions to the rule because I fell into one of the cracks, one of the rules. And that's where you want to become really good with, because you become an expert the more you know why the rules bend. So get your eyes used to the rules and then know where they come apart. And that's when you're really going to build your skill and confidence level. And it becomes in the doing, the more time you spend with clients. So when it comes to seasons, we've got this color wheel. It's a circle wheel. Like I mentioned earlier, if we cut it down the middle, undertones happen. Cool and warm sides happen here. Neutral friends, so they're going to pick a side, and then there are neutral colors on both sides. We talked about that, but specifically, if we now take a horizontal line and divide the color wheel horizontally, you're going to have on the cool side, summer, winter seasons on the cool side, spring, and autumn on the warm side. These are the 4 seasons that you have. So on the cool side, if they have a cool skin, they're going to either be a summer or a winter. If they have warm skin, they're either going to be a spring or an autumn. There are general characteristics to these seasons. I'm going to say general because it's not always cut and dry. It's not always clear. Every season, you can have a friend with different hair color and eye color than what I'm about to say. But let's talk generally, as this could maybe be a way to help introduce you to color diagnosis. If you're in the summer season, you may typically be lighter, blonde hair, blue eyes, lighter eye, lighter hair. Winter may be deeper hair, deeper eye, or deeper skin. This may be the difference between the two, generally. If we're on the warm side, the spring, lighter hair, lighter eye. The autumn, deeper hair, deeper eye, and our deeper skin. Those are general assessments to the season. Let's talk about value and chroma. Typically, summers at the top of the cool wheel, they're going to have or need a more muted approach to chroma, more saturated in the winter when it comes to chroma. On the warm side, saturated for spring, muted for autumns. That's a generality and an approach to the color wheel. Within every quadrant in every season, we can then break it down into subseasons. And see, this just gets even more complicated. But that, if you see or hear the words clear, or deep, or light, or soft, it just means within that quadrant, we're going to cut out a part, a third of those colors within that wheel and say these are your specific best of the best, and this has to do with your value and or your chroma. You're going to need a little bit more specifically in these shades that are softer and are deeper, are more clear, bright, saturated, etc. When you nail that down, you and or the people in front of you will really walk away with their very best of the best. And you want to align it back to the products. What Mary Kay products serve these niches within the color wheel, within their value, within their chroma scale. Undertone, of course, is always the first and primary. So, there are lots of rules, lots of colors to show at you, lots of things to think about, but just take it one step at a time. My challenge for you is just to get your eye equipped, get your eye knowing undertone, get your eye to know value, light to dark, who needs light, who needs what, depth is best for them, chroma, muted to saturated, what serves them best. And then again, know your product. Always apricot moment, more muted. And then of course, let's say powerful pink or hope pink. They're more high chromatic pink. So that would be high chroma or intensity. This is where it all aligns and comes together. At the end of the day, take a breath first of all. Separate it all out. Look at the person in front of you. But get some practice in maybe with family or friends. My job is to help you get acquainted with the skill set. But keep in mind, color is hard because sometimes overtone comes in and you don't know what to do with her undertone because there's so much overtone. Or what product looks great on her because what you thought was muted isn't muted. It can get a little crazy. And then you may have a clear winter that has blonde hair and blue eyes. I know it can get a little hairy, but just hang in there. My goal is to help you have an eye to see, and then for that extra specific cases, or if you have a client who you don't know where to put her, let me have the tough job. I've been doing this for a long time. She's in good hands. If you refer your client to me, I will definitely treat her well, diagnose her, send her right back to you to grab Mary Kay products from you. We can work together where if you may not want to be the expert in seasons or color analysis, you don't have to own that. I'm here to partner with you, but you may want to know well enough to get your feet wet and serve her best. But I'm here to help you and partner with you if needed, because at the end of the day, I think this is important. It's very valuable. But your goal is to be a Mary Kay beauty consultant, and we are skincare focused. And we want to, of course, know and feel empowered by color training, but know you don't have to put in all the sweat equity if it doesn't come natural and your eye doesn't see it from the beginning. It's okay. Stay in your lane of skincare and color. And then I'm here to help, of course, get a little bit better. So this was our intro to color. Know your products, what colors are what in undertone. Get very familiar with that. Train yourself on that. Number 2, understanding the verbiage of color theory, and then general rules of color theory with people's value and their chroma in mind with undertones, and for the 4 seasons, what happens when that all collides. And then, of course, if you want to take another step further, subseasons come into play. Familiarize yourself with those, and then, friend, you will have a leg up on color diagnosis. But again, I'm here to help. Happy to help, joyful to help. Just let me know, and I will definitely take care of your client for you and send them your way. All right, happy color analysis, happy season finding. I wish you all the very best.